There is something about remote, deserted islands which draws us in. Exploring these treasure islands is what we dreamt about as kids. Sometimes we have to pinch ourselves to believe that we are actually here, living those dreams now.
In the last 4 years since leaving England, we have crossed 2 oceans and sailed over halfway around the world.
Our circumnavigation of the world is on pause in Indonesia, on the edge of the Indian Ocean, as we wait out the global pandemic. After 4 months of lockdown, only able to go ashore on our isolated island, the restrictions have been eased. Now, we are allowed to explore the local area. After so long in one place, it feels incredible to be sailing again.
We are lucky that when the pandemic closed borders and stopped our voyage in its tracks, we found ourselves trapped in one of the most beautiful and least travelled parts of Indonesia. Now that we can explore the area, we've found some stunning anchorages. And when we found a spot as good as this one, all to ourselves, with just a few local boats passing by with a friendly wave, why would we go anywhere else?
We left a beautiful anchorage this morning. We've been there a few days, just enjoying calm isolation away from it all. Just a few fishermen going past. Beautiful little island next to the anchorage to have a little bonfire on one evening. And it's really difficult to tear yourself away from places like that because it's beautiful and you just sit there and think, well, why would we go anywhere different? But I guess if you just kept thinking like that, you'd never go anywhere.
We're heading out to the east of Tello, driven by a wanderlust to see what's round the next corner, and explore an area of which very little is known about to the outside world.
Well, that's really cool. The wind had completely died and we were just drifting along, just about to furl the sails and motor, and we heard this sound like a whale breathing and looked out, and just fairly far in the distance we saw what we thought was a little whale fin coming up to breathe. And so we just furled the genoa and we just sat here watching, and there are 2 whales around us.
It's got like a really long nose. I don't think that's a humpback.
One of them just came up. They'd gone down for a while, and one of them just came up and surfaced about half a boat length off the corner of Florence and absolutely made both of us jump out of our skin. But we didn't get that on camera, we were looking the wrong way. But it's just, sometimes you get some amazing experiences just in the middle of nowhere, just drifting along. It's perfect whale watching conditions because it's flat calm and you can actually see them.
Oh yeah, got him there. Oh yeah.
They're still surrounding us now, but they're a bit further away from Florence.
Oh, there's one over there. There's one.
Well, we've got some very distant photos on the camera. Hopefully they caught them, and Amy's got some on the video camera, and hopefully we'll be able to work out what they are. I'm not sure they'll be really very good footage to show. It's not going to be, it's not very close up, but hopefully we can work out what they were, or are. They're not massive, but they're quite big.
After our whale encounter, we sailed on to a group of small islands which we hope to explore. The charts have very little information for this area, so we're relying just on satellite images for navigation.
We're just coming up to where we're hoping to anchor. We've got to find our way in through the reef next to this sand spit. So just looking at Orbital on the phone, and we can clearly see the sand spit next to us. Just got to work our way through the reefs now. Trying to find an anchorage off one of these little islands. Although we've got satellite images, charts, a depth sounder, we can't tell whether the bottom is sand or something that the anchor will bite into, or just reef. And the dark patches, we can't tell whether they're coral bommies or just seagrass, which would be fine. So there's one way to find out easily, I guess.
It looks good here. What do you reckon?
There's mainly like coral rubble. There's not too many big bommies to snag the chain. They're all really small stuff. Until you get further in, then you get some really big bommies. Pretty clear until you get close to the beach, and then it's really like really reduced visibility from all the wave action. Might be all right.
A day anchorage or an overnight?
It's calm right now, so we're discussing whether or not we should anchor here overnight, because we want to go back to the islands a bit further down that only really has a day anchorage, and we're looking for a night anchorage now. But we know, because we came around before, we know just 2.5 miles that way there is a really good overnight anchorage where we'll get a really good night's sleep. So for the sake of motoring half an hour that way now, getting a good night's sleep and then motoring half an hour back tomorrow, it's probably worth going to the one that we know is a good anchorage. So I think we'll come back tomorrow.
We're really pleased that we actually came and stayed in this anchorage last night instead of staying at the more exposed ones a bit further out, because the wind did pick up and we had a couple of big rain squalls that went through. Actually, once those guys went through, we had a really good night's sleep, whereas out there I think we've been worrying pretty much all night and not really sleeping very well.
Ready to go?
Yeah, slept really well. It's gorgeous here, but I'm excited to go and look at those islands over the other side. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning though, and it's already baking hot.
It's a flat, calm day here today. Not a breath of wind. Not very good for sailing places, but perfect if we want to go and visit that beautiful desert island we passed on the way up here. The anchorage there isn't very good, so if there was any breeze or waves, we wouldn't really be comfortable leaving Florence there. But in flat, calm conditions like this, Florence will sit in the same place just on the way to the anchor chain, sitting on the bottom. So I think it's time to head out there and have a look at that desert island.
This looks like a very cool treasure island.
If I was a kid, I would be digging for treasure.
Now we have to find somewhere suitable to anchor. Not too deep for the anchor, and not too shallow for Florence.
What's the depth?
20 metres here, shoaling pretty quick.
Looks like it's a steeper shelf here, but it's like vertical.
Well,
Here is okay. Whoa. But then
is that seagrass over there?
seagrass with like small bommies, like 1, 2. Oh yeah.
Reverse.
Okay.
7 metres. 6 metres.
Proper shelf.
I don't want to go too much further in than this.
No, I wouldn't.
Coming around to starboard. 5 metres. But you can see it's just coming up. We usually show the process of anchoring Florence as being quick, but in reality, because we cannot trust the charts here, we usually have to spend between 5 and 10 minutes slowly circling to check the depths and find a suitable spot with an unobstructed location for the anchor and clear swinging room for Florence. Luckily, the clear water here often makes it possible to see any obstructions on the bottom. I think drop it here, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he is okay.
Go for it.
The anchor seemed to bite really well into the sand, and we're anchored off this like really steep ledge, but we're on pretty short scope, so we think we've got a good swinging room in case the wind does switch round, and we're going to be able to see Florence, so we'll be able to see if there's any bad weather coming, so we can move if necessary. But the next challenge is how we actually get to this island. It's surrounded by reef, and a lot of it actually has breaking waves. And because our dinghy is wooden, we don't want to drag her over any rocks, so we're going to have to try and find the bit with the deepest water and the most sand. I think we'll paddle in and yeah, see if we can get ashore.
Put our reef shoes on if we have to wade across it and carry the dinghy across it.
Yeah.
I guess we could put the anchor in, we would anchor the dinghy off and wade in. Might work.
I think it'd be too deep. There's like it's shallow reef all the way into the beach.
Oh, let's give it a go anyway.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's quite big and heavy though.
Not good for the shell collection.
Probably not quite good enough.
It's like a shed.
Oh, looks like someone lives here. Hello? Looks like a little shelter for maybe for the fishermen when they stop out here. There's no one home at the moment. It's kind of a bit like a little holiday hut. You've got a nice bench and a table. Sit eating outside in a gorgeous view. What's that program? Home, a place in the sun? This one feature on a place in the sun? I mean, it would be a pretty cheap place in the sun and it would score well on the view. Possibly not so well on the amenities. Well, mind you, the pool's pretty good. A private pool just, and a private beach on your private island. That's got to count for something. Just need a private yacht to get here. Good job we've got one of them. So a place in the sun comes with its own mooring for your boat. I mean, that's got to be worth something too. We can get Florence on that. Maybe the machine.
There's nobody on this island today. We've got the place all to ourselves, but you can tell that there's somebody been here recently because there's absolutely no coconuts on any of the trees. They've all been harvested. These trees are also the only shade on the island, and luckily they're close enough together. I think I might be able to sling up my hammock. Yeah, I reckon one here, and then it'll be a shorter one, but one here. Okay. And we use this big rope. How is it?
It's good. I'm not normally a hammock person, but today I think this is kind of ideal hammock time.
There's even a tiny breeze coming through the trees.
Holding Florence the right way off that reef over there as well.
Yeah. I'm definitely a hammock person. I love my hammock. I don't get to actually use it very often, but I've got the better view, I think. I can just see Florence.
Like a coffee?
I love a coffee. Hi.
There you go, my dear.
Thanks.
Anything else?
As you can see, we managed to stock up on coffee. And ironically, it's actually called ship's coffee, I think, in
Indonesian.
Kapal kopi. Ship's coffee. It's good. Nice, thank you. This is the first day we've had like this for a couple of weeks. We've had a lot of boat jobs to get done, and the weather's also been really unpredictable. We've had lots of squalls and lots of rain, which has actually stopped the supply boats even coming into the small local town where we get our fruits and vegetables. And we've also had a lot of stress recently in terms of our visas and what we do next. Things are changing and there's an awful lot of uncertainty, so it feels really good to be here and just away from everything. We've got no internet connection. I think the nearest boat is like 50 miles away. Just have a bit of relaxing time. It's really nice. This place is absolutely stunning. I think this is the most beautiful island that we've been to since that time in the Banyaks. And I think this is possibly even nicer, apart from the fact that it's not love heart shaped.
Wow, it's a beautiful day on the island, but it's a bit too choppy there for a comfortable overnight. The anchor had dragged a little bit, I think, from where we were anchored, so we're just going back to where we were last night, which is the safe anchorage that we know on an island about 3 miles up, and the breeze has filled in and it's a perfect evening for a sail. Next time we get a bit braver and thread our way through a maze of reefs under sail to some more stunning anchorages.
Our ability to carry on making and sharing these videos is made possible by you. We want to say a huge thank you to all the awesome people who support us, especially our star patrons. If you would like to join the crew, please click the link to our Patreon site at the end of this video.